Murray, and I'm excited about today's topic. It's so good. We are talking about the deception called retirement. The deception called retirement. Why is this so important? Many of us have worked many years. I'm sure if you're watching this podcast, you understand one of the things I speak about often is the fact that we have more years behind us than ahead of us. Once you've got 60 years behind you, you do not have 60 years ahead of you for the most part, the majority of people in the world. It's just the way that it works. And when that happens, you just become a little more reflective, you become a little more deliberate, you uh, pay closer attention to all the little things. One of the things that caught my eye was this trick that is being spun called retirement, and it really made me ask a lot of questions like who created retirement, where did it come from, who even made up the word. I first went to the book of truth to find out, is it anywhere in the Bible where a person retired? And I could not find the word retirement, even though there's nothing new under the sun. I was just like, okay, well, if it wasn't in the Bible, who said that we're supposed to retire, and at what age are we supposed to retire? And what does retirement actually mean, and what does that actually look like? So I had an opportunity to do some digging around on the internet to look for the person that came up with the concept. It was a German named he was a chancellor, Otto von Bismarck, and this guy was looking for a way to make more room in the labor market for younger workers. So he introduced a concept called retirement, where the older workers would leave the workforce and make room for the younger workers. Well, if you just think about that concept, that in and of itself seems problematic to me. And it just doesn't make sense. What usually happens when people that are more mature leave the workplace and leave the marketplace actually becomes a little dull because the experience and the wisdom of age and time, those things are now void or gone because the person has left. So this concept, though, was created probably back in the mid 1800s. And during that time period, where they were trying to put in young people into the workforce. Again, this is Germany. This wasn't even in America. This was in Germany where this concept came about. But in 1875, between 1875 and 1880, here in the United States, American Express was introducing something that was similar to a pension plan, and also the Baltimore Railroad introduced a pension type plan for their aging workers. The when the workers began to retire, they would get this pension. But remember, those were targeted toward people that were low income because public servant income was always at the bottom of the totem pole, if you will. So it was a way to help them supplement their expenses for living to provide them with some form of pension. However, we have now turned this thing into a like not it's no longer a safety net. It's almost like a crutch where we believe in some weird way that Social Security retirement is going to be enough to sustain us once we stop working. Now, Social Security retirement was created in like the 1930s, 1934, 1935, when they instituted the concept of Social Security. And it would involve a payroll tax that would be levied against your wages. This tax would come out, it would be held by the federal government, and they would then pay this benefit to you once you reach a certain age. So, for the majority of us that were born after 1960, that age is age 67. If you were born before 1960, the age is 65. But here's the point: who said you're supposed to retire? One of the things that actually happens when a person retires, they disconnect from their social circle as a general rule. The majority of us spend more time socializing at work than we do in any other place other than religious gatherings. So that would be church, community groups, and things of that nature. But for the most part, people get the majority of their social encounters at work. So all of a sudden, a person reaches the ripe young age of 65. Like now that I'm so close to 65, I can touch it with my finger. I'm thinking, who said we need to retire? And why would I leave the workforce to make room for who? Well, the reality, I just started writing down a few things that would be impacted when a person retires, just so that we can come to a logical conclusion about the matter. Do you need to retire? Do you need to retire? I'm going to say you don't need to retire. I believe what you need to do, as what I am doing, is you need to start or you need to get involved in a business. If you take a look even at what I'm doing here on the podcast, this was something totally new. I never thought about doing this before. I never thought I could do it. And once I started doing it, of course, I'm sure, 60 episodes ago, you probably remember some of the fumbles and all of the snafus that happen consistently and repeatedly. But over time, you just realize that this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So I don't really know where God is taking me with this particular journey, nor do I know why it's called a journey of transformation. I don't know. I'm just in it with you. But what I want you to imagine is that I am not retiring, and I don't think you should retire. Do you know that when people retire, the routine of going into a place and staying active, that kind of dissipates? Most people become sedentary. Most people begin spending more time watching television. They spend less time thinking. So mentally, they become slower. They develop cognitive sluggishness. Is that what we're looking forward to? I don't think so. In addition to that, the majority of people that actually retire do not live a long time. Why is that? I don't know. Once there's no longer a reason that you get up in the morning, a reason that you get started, a reason that you go here or go there, life seems to change. And it's just statistically proven that a person that, for example, some people are deciding, am I going to retire at 64 or 65? Just this one, just imagine this 1 year between the age of 64 and 65. It's been shown through studies that if a person works that extra year, they have an 11% more likelihood of living than the person that retires at age 64. Why is this? So something is wrong, but I'm all about keeping it real. And the bottom line is your expenses do not go down because you retire. Your cost of dry cleaning is the exact same as when you were working. The cost of laundry detergent is the same as when you were working. The cost of living is not reduced just because you decide to retire. The cost of food does not go down. The cost of travel does not go down. As a matter of fact, in the old days, they used to give retirees a free coffee at some of the restaurants. That's not happening. But I would submit to you, you don't want anybody's free. You don't want it. You don't even want that. That's not a successful life. And I'm certain that that would not be satisfying to give up all of the freedom and all of the opportunity to suddenly become so dependent that we need someone to give us free coffee. Really? Property taxes don't go down unless you're in the military. That's one amazing thing about the military. The current administration was able to pass a bill that eliminated property taxes for veterans, which is extraordinary. So, other than the veterans, if you're not a veteran, you will still have property taxes even once you retire. What else won't go down? The cost of your insurance. It's not like it may be reduced because they're factoring in age, but it's not like it's free because you retired. The cost of repairs, fixing the car is just as expensive. A- a- As a matter of fact, when a lot of the auto repair places, they prey on seniors, and what actually happens, we get treated worse because they know that you're isolated and alone. So, no need to retire. The cost of renovations, if you have to have work done in your home, those aren't cheaper because you're retired. So the cost of landscaping isn't cheaper just because you retired. The cost of gas in your car, it's not cheaper because you chose to retire, nor the cost of utilities. Electricity is not cheaper because you chose to retire. Water, a bottle of water is gonna cost the same for you as it's gonna cost the 24-year-old that's still working. In addition, the cost for a vehicle is not going to be cheaper because we decided to retire. So if you look at all of these, and these are just some of the expenses, we talked about food, travel, clothing, taxes, insurance, repairs, renovation, landscaping, gas, utilities, and vehicles. That's just some of them. That's not to mention your dry cleaning. That's not to mention alterations, because if we're not exercising and staying active, our bodies begin to change. Some people get really skinny, some people get really large. Doesn't matter. Changes happen. Then the clothing needs to be altered. The cost of buying clothing at the department stores, it's not reduced because we chose to retire. So why are we doing that? We're not German. That was a German concept. Who says we have to retire? Retire when you're done, whatever that means for you. Don't let someone put a number on you and tell you it's time for you to go now. What? No, I'm not ready to go. And I just think young people keep you young. Stay engaged, stay active, stay social. Continue to use the skills that you've been given over these years to solve problems. Don't just throw in the towel, and don't let someone push you off into a retirement lifestyle. You don't have to do that. You have choices. Choose to live, choose to work where you want to work, choose to volunteer. And I wrote a couple of notes of things that I think we all need to do that are really, really critical if we are going to effectively navigate this transformation. We have to be spending time doing three things that are very, very important. Number one is meditating. Meditation is so important. I choose to meditate on scriptures. I not a whole chapter in the Bible. I'll take one scripture, and I will go over that scripture. For example, the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. And I will just take that one scripture, that one verse, and just literally meditate on that. So in my prayer time, I'm going to spend probably 20 minutes total, and that's on a good day. On the average day, it may be 11 minutes. But of that, one third of the time, I'm going to just be meditating on that scripture because there's so much revelation in that. The Lord is my shepherd, the ruler of everything, the ruler of the galaxy, the creator of heaven and earth. That is my shepherd, my protector, my keeper, the one that watches out for me, the one that picks the thistles and thorns from my coat, the one that provides for me, that makes certain that I have food to eat, and my shepherd, the Lord is my shepherd, not some sub person, some underling, but the Lord of lords, the King of kings. That's my shepherd, and he's a good father. And I just want you to imagine this for a second. Meditation is going to be critical. It's going to be key. The next thing is, after meditating, to journal. It's so important that we're journaling, because if we're not journaling, we don't have an opportunity to reflect on some of the revelations that have come from being a part of this journey of transformation. We don't it's also very difficult to remember everything. It's just the way that that works. There is a saying that a short pencil is better than a long memory. Why? Because with the short pencil, you can actually write it down and you have it forever. A long memory is only as good as that memory is good. And what we do know over time, the way the mind works, it actually purges out some memories. So some things that may be important can actually be lost. So journal, take the time to journal. And the most important thing after meditation and journaling is to pray. Are you supposed to be retiring, or are you supposed to be making a difference? Where are you supposed to be making that difference? And what is the future going to look like for you? There's only one person that has those answers. And the key is, you have to go vertical to make that connection. Retirement is a deception, it's not real. As are many things that are being promoted today, the whole concept does not work. For some, great. For the vast majority, not so great. Consider for a moment. Don't pull the trigger before it's time. Don't leave if you're not ready to go. Find a way to add more value. Continue to show that your seasoning, your time, your ability, your wisdom, your tenacity, your dependability, that those are the things that employers value the most, you know? So I believe that we have the ability to really impact the market in a remarkable way. And I'm going to encourage everybody that's listening, consider trying again. There are many people that have tried many types of home-based businesses, and maybe it didn't work for you in the past. Maybe it was something you tried it, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work, and you thought, "Oh, I'll never do that again because that just doesn't work." Maybe that wasn't the right time for you. I'm going to encourage you now at this point in life, this is the right time. Get your hands on something, put your hands to something, and allow the creator of the universe to do what only he can, cause you to prosper. I believe he can cause you to prosper. Figure out what the thing is going to be. It doesn't matter what it is that you choose to do. It may be oils or candles, or it may be vitamins or travel or coffee or something. Just do something. But whatever you do, don't let anyone force you into the retirement box. Fair enough? All right. I'm looking forward to getting an opportunity to meet you personally at some point in the future, where we'll get a chance to share, and you'll be able to share with me the impact of this 365 days of transformation. I am excited because even now I'm learning and evolving, learning new techniques, new strategies, learning proper ways to do things better. And as the days go by, you'll see some remarkable changes. So I'm so excited and I'm thankful to be on this journey with you. Now, with that being said, seize the day.